Hi, this is Drew. In this video, we're going to talk about Needles notification options for our Needles integrated customers. So first, you're going to want to go click this Needles drop down here and click Parties. Now, to set up your notification options, the first thing you'll want to do is to create some sort of a filter. And these filters can be as simple or as complex as you want them to be. So I'm going to set up a simple one first and just say our client is equal to Y, which this is the way it's stored in the Needles database. So what this is saying is that if anyone texts in who is marked as our client, they will meet this filter. Now, to set up a notification for that, we have two different notification types. We can type in an email address, and so if I type in an email address here, then anytime a client sends a text message to the firm, it will notify me by email. Now, that's not our most common way for firms to set up notifications. I think our most common setup is to notify a staff position. So we'll look at this set of conditions here. So what this is saying is that if any time a client sends a text message to the firm, we will send an email notification to staff position 2. Now, these dynamic notifications are very powerful, but one thing that you want to be sure of is that all of your staff has their email address saved in their Needles preferences. If they do not have their email address in Needles, we will not be able to send them a notification. So that is probably our most common setup, is exactly what I have on this screen. Something where anytime a client sends a message in, we're going to notify a particular staff position, whether it be staff 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever the case may be. But if you want to get fancy, you certainly can. So we can add another filter, and we can add a particular class type. And so in this case, what we'll do is we'll say, if this particular class type sends in a text message, we're going to notify staff 1. And I'll go ahead and save that now. It is important that you save these notification preferences in order for them to work. So I'm going to save that one. I saved it as COW for this class type. Now I'm going to set up a different one, and I'm just going to change that class type to a different class type. And then I'm going to add a notification to a different staff position in Needles. And I'm going to save that one. So basically, by saving multiple of these notifications, we're able to really customize how those text message notifications are delivered when your firm gets a new text message. And I'm going to do one more. We're going to choose a different class type, and we're just going to do it a little bit differently. So we're going to say the class is equal to that, and then we're going to add another filter where, oh, I don't know, the person is a minor. And again, this may not be the most realistic set of filters, but in this particular case, we're going to notify by email a specific email address. And we're going to save that, and we're going to call that DBL minors. And so now we've created 3 different types of filters, which will notify 3 different class types. And if this particular person who texts in is marked as a minor, it's going to send an email to this particular email address. Again, your firm may be much simpler than this, or it may be more complex. Our most common setup is normally just if a client texts in, send that notification to staff position 2. Now, you are going to want to catch all of the text messages which do not meet any of your Needles filters. So we just set up 3 different notification settings in the dashboard. Now, there will be people who text in that don't meet any of those, and so you want someone to receive those notifications. And oftentimes, you will, if you, for example, set up your filters like this, where our client equal Y, and you notify a particular person, then anyone who's not a client, or if they don't have a case in Needles, they won't meet any of those filters, and so you'll probably want to send them to your intake specialist. And the way that you do that is you go over to Admin, Integrations, Needles, and over here on step 5, you have all of your Needles integration settings. Now, a lot of this has to do with your IT and your Needles integration. You don't want to mess with this IP address unless you know what you're doing. But the setting that I want to point out to you is this one here that says, notify me if a new message does not meet any of my Needles filters. And so what this checkbox is saying is that if someone sends in a text message and they do not match any of my Needles notification filters, send a notification to this email address. And this is a perfect place to put your intake specialist, because that means that whoever sent in that text message did not meet any of those notification filters that would send out to your case managers. So I'm going to save that there, and now we are good to go. We have set up our firm with all of our notification options, which can be found here. And if we change our mind, we simply click on the notification, delete it, and then we can create another one. And before I forget, I need to go ahead and remove these from my account. But that's it. So it's that easy to create these customizable, robust notification options for as simple or as complicated as you need them to be. And if you have any questions about that, feel free to call me or send me an email. Thanks.